Okay, part two. So when we left part one, we were just about to put in some data into our PHP MyAdmin. If you're having trouble getting that up to see a teacher, they will help you to get that onto your screen. Remember, you must have XAMPP running. Okay, so let's put some data in. So we need to click on the Insert tab here. Okay, and the values we put in this last column here. So let's just say this was called 0001, the super ID must be a number. So if we start with that, we can start putting in 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. Superhero name, we'll say Superman. Real name is Clark Kent. Powers, we'll say very strong, just to be simple. Intelligence, we'll say he's got a 140 IQ score. Strength, we'll say 100, and power, we'll say 95, just for argument's sake. Then click Go. Okay, so that gives us the SQL code to insert that into our database. Okay, so insert into the table super those values, and here are the values here. So when we go back to browse, we should find that here is our table called super, and it gives you the data for Superman. Here's ID number 1, his superhero name is Superman, real name is Clark Kent, etc. So that's in there, ready to go. That's all we're going to do today with PHP MyAdmin. We're just going to make sure we can get that data back out and displayed on the screen. So next step is to look at what PHP code we need to put together to access this data in our database called superheroes and our table called super. And to do that, we're going to look at a YouTube clip, and we're just going to use a little bit of code from that and modify a little bit. So I'm just going to pause for a moment. Okay, so the YouTube clip you really want to have a look at. It runs for 8 minutes 26 seconds, and it's by this guy Danny Crossing, and it is number 36, how to connect a database in PHP. Okay, so if you put in those search words, or even database in PHP or Danny Crossing database in PHP, you should be able to reach it and have a look through it. So he's going to go through how to create two little files. One is called index.php. The other one is in a folder called includes next to it, and it's going to be called dbhinc. Okay, and that's also a PHP file. So have a look through it, have a listen to it. He'll describe what's going on. So basically the index.php grabs the data from the database. In the includes folder, the dbh, it connects the code to the database. So it's basically got parameters there, username, password, database name, and forget the other one, that will connect you to the database so you can then run the main file, the index.php. So I'm going to show you those, the code for those two files, and if you can then put those files inside a folder. So if you've got XAMPP installed, you will see that you on your C drive. So I'll just go to that now. So if you go to your C drive and you go to the XAMPP folder here, and you go to htdocs, this is where your files will go. So I already got mine in there. One's called index, and then you need an includes folder, and inside that I've got actually 3 files here, but the only one you need is dbh.inc.php. Okay, if we have a look at the dbh one, it's a small file. Just open it with Notepad. So it's basically got the PHP tags, you need those. Okay, it's got the server name, which is always localhost. It's got the username, which we're going to call root. There is no password on this, and the database name is super, which I will have to change to superheroes, I think I called it. So I'm just going to save that. Okay, and then this is a standard line, the connection, $con, and then you've got those parameters being used in the connection. So that's a short file. That's what you'll need for the file that fits inside your includes folder. It's called dbh.inc.php. The main file, if we go back out into htdocs root folder, the index file here, if we open that up with Notepad, it's quite a bit more complicated. So I'll email you that file that you can then manipulate or change. Okay, so this first section actually runs the includes file, which is the dbh.inc.php, to connect to your database. Then the rest of it runs the process of getting the data. So it's just a title, which is just in straight HTML, superheroes data. We're back into PHP code here. So I'm going to select everything from a table called super, which is still what we've got. And here, echo in PHP just means print. So I'm going to print a little heading, superheroes data. This superheroes ID shouldn't actually print out, so I might need to change that. And then we've just got a series of three lines. So we put a little title, superhero name equals. This line 27 gets our hero name. Okay, which I think I'm going to have to change. I don't think I called that in my database. Let's have a look. Where were we? I called it superhero name. So I'm going to have to change that to super capital H hero name. Okay. It's got to be exact. And then this is just a break or a line break, so it leaves a little space. Real name. And I think I called that real name, so that's all the same. And then a line break, skills, intelligence, strength. Yeah, I think I called that powers, didn't I? Call that powers. Powers. So I need to call that powers. Okay, and I'll make that powers. Okay, I think intelligence, strength, and power, that should be all right. So I'll email you that code, just save that, and I'll pause the video now. That will do for part 2. For part 3, I'll then go into actually showing you how it works.